Hi all, my name is Anniina Nurmi, and I'm glad to be here to talk about my views and work regarding climate crisis. I work as a sustainability manager at an NGO, a Finnish NGO called Pro Ethical Trade Finland, and in Finland more commonly known as EETTI ry. My previous work, I've been working at EETTI for a couple of years, but previously I worked for quite many years in the field of sustainable fashion as an entrepreneur. And at that point, my viewpoint to climate crisis was more so the environmental side of it. But nowadays, at EETTI, our main view on the topic is that climate crisis is a human rights issue. And this is something that I wish to elaborate during the next half an hour-ish. First, a few words about the NGO that I work in. So we promote trade justice, sustainable value chains, ethical consumption, and active citizenship. The way that we and I especially do the work that I do is pushing companies, especially Finnish ones, to do more ambitious sustainability work. We focus especially on the fashion industry and companies within it, and electronics. So those kind of daily products and goods that we all have, and those that have really long production chains, which is scattered all around the globe. And we especially want to focus on the workers that are involved in those long production chains. There are, for example, in the fashion industry, millions and millions of garment workers that have quite many problems in their human rights issues. For example, the fact that most of the workers don't earn a living wage, meaning that they don't have the income that is needed for them and their families to have a decent living, all in all. So we want to improve those production chains. We do that by pushing companies, investigating companies and their sustainability work, but also raising awareness and especially also to activate people into being active citizens, and not only have an impact as consumers, but also active people who can push companies and push legislatures towards more ambitious world of sustainable production chains, all in all. But then how EETTI and climate crisis, what's the link between those? So all in all, when we talk about climate crisis, of course, we have to talk about also other planetary boundaries and human rights. They are all linked together. Planetary boundaries being, for example, the use of water, the use of land, chemicalization, and many others. And climate crisis, of course, being one of the most urgent ones. And of course, can't forget also the loss of biodiversity as well. And Of course, these environmental issues are super important to tackle, and we do that work as well at EETI. But we want to emphasize the link between climate crisis and human rights. And this means that even though, for example, we here in Finland, we don't see so clear, or climate crisis doesn't have that big of an impact yet, like direct impact towards us. But for example, those millions of garment workers, for example, in Bangladesh, they are facing it already. And they are already in a vulnerable position. I said before that the situation that they work in and live in is not at all the best kind. But also, for example, millions of people have already lost their homes due to climate crisis in Bangladesh. So it's impacting those people already that produce the stuff that we buy in a really cheap prices, and the stuff that the prices are not including the environmental costs nor the human rights costs, all in all. And the other side of it, how the climate crisis and human rights are linked together, is that now that we are tackling climate crisis and moving towards a green transition, the way that we tackle the problem in many cases does not include the side of the workers, and the fact that also the workers should be, and the human rights issues and the just transition of the production chains that we have now should be considered as well. So we can't just tackle the climate crisis as an environmental issue, but include the workers' rights in the process as well. And how all this is linked to us, not only to Finland, but us, those countries that consume a lot, also named global north compared to global south countries, as in the many of the production countries where our clothes and electronics are produced. So the companies that work here in the global north have outsourced the production to these countries where it's cheaper to produce the stuff that we buy. But at the same time that the production is outsourced, also the emissions are outsourced. So all of the impact that the production has, the negative environmental impact, the negative impact on climate crisis, it's not on us. We can't see it, as said before. We are not the ones to be the first ones to see the consequences. And for example, when it comes to clothing production, most of the emissions from the production chain comes from the very beginning of the long supply chain, from the material sourcing and manufacturing. So we should So we can't ignore this issue, and that is something that the companies here in Global North should have the responsibility to cover the negative impacts that the products that they sell have. Okay, on one hand, there is the companies up here, but on the other side, there is the consumption side to it. If the whole globe and the population of it would consume as much as us Finns do, we would need 4 planet Earth. So we consume a lot more resources, natural resources, that we really would have, that we would live within the planetary boundaries. Of course, this is much more than just concerning climate crisis, as said before. So planetary boundaries are a lot bigger topic, but climate crisis being one of the biggest ones. So also the amount of consumption and the consumption of those goods that have an impact outside the states that we live in. So us consumers also have the responsibility to first of all understand the impacts that the products have, but also do what we can to minimize the impact. So I think I said once already the term just transition, but this is something that I want to emphasize, and this is something that our NGO is focusing on more and more. This really is the hot topic, well, pun intended, hot topic, a bit too hot, as the climate crisis gets worse and worse. So this is one of the main focus points, just transition. So as I said before, we need a green transition to tackle these huge environmental problems that we have now. But we can't have only like a technical solution for it, because those solutions that we are thinking of now, they really don't include, they are not, those solutions don't include the workers, the millions of workers that are facing the costs and impacts of climate crisis already. So green transition, including human rights, is a just transition. This is a really short definition to it. It's a big topic, but to put it simply, these two should both be combined, and our work is to, of course, push ambitious green transition, but at the same time remember the human rights, because just transition cannot be implemented after the green transition is implemented. So we have to have a really good planning and move step by step towards changing the, for example, the production chains. A few examples. If you think about like materials in the clothing supply chain, if we move towards more and more recycled materials, so then there is a lot of new new education, new kind of work that needs to be done in order to have the whole recycling process up and running. For example, sorting the materials, the clothes, and having new technologies also to recycle the fibers. So the workers that are now in the cotton farms or in the sewing rooms, they should have the opportunity to re-educate and have a new position in the supply chain. Another huge topic which needs to be covered is the fact that all in all, the production volumes should get smaller. And of course, this can mean that if they are drastically decreased, the volumes, it could mean that there is less work for the sewers, for example. But then this should be also considered that what ways can there still be the work and jobs that are still there now, but they are better compensated, and the positions are better for the environment and better for the people. One like this research that we did at the end of last year, that we just also published in English, is research on fast fashion and circular economy. And this sorry, this is tightly linked to the previous discussion about just transition as well. You will get a link to this article on our website, so you will have the chance to dive a little deeper into the topic. But a spoiler here, that the efforts and the tasks that the fast fashion companies are doing within the circular economy, they are mostly just band-aid solutions, having, for example, a bit more recycled materials, or just a teeny tiny part of their work related to services. But all in all, what we found out that the main business still stays the same. The production volumes aren't getting any smaller, and the majority of the revenue still comes from selling new clothes at a fast pace. So the the services aren't, there is no like numeral precise targets that how the turnover of services or other circular economy activities would get bigger for these companies. And also there is no evidence that a just transition is a focus point for this transition. But more so on our website, I hope you check that out and learn more about the topic. A few slides more. So now, how to move from now on? How we as an NGO support the change that is needed, the just transition that is needed to tackle climate crisis, remember the human rights, and live within the planetary boundaries. So, of course, raising awareness is one thing. So people, for example, even know the topic of just transition. We continue investigating companies, mainly Finnish ones, and in that way push the companies into more ambitious sustainability work. And one important topic is also pushing legislation, because human rights cannot be a choice for the companies, but it has to be mandatory. So advocating for ambitious legislation, for example, the human rights due diligence legislation, is, which is on its way, is a really important topic for us. And also to support active citizenship, that the people would understand their role not only as consumers, but also that we together can make a change in first of all in the work that the companies do, but also in changing the legislation to be more ambitious. And many times we talk about that, okay, who is responsible of the change? Is it legislation only? Is it companies? Is it us, citizens, consumers? But all of the different shareholders, stakeholders do have their own role and responsibility. And we work in all of these three different topics. And also us as citizens, we can push the companies, for example, just like send an email and ask about the certain topic regarding their production chain, or then to push legislation. For example, this spring we have an EU election, because the EU is a really important factor when it comes to especially the legislation regarding human rights in the long supply chains. So remember to vote if you are EU citizen. Now I think my time soon is up. I want to thank you all for your time, and a few final words still. Even though now I'm saying that, okay, we all have a possibility to make a change, but I do understand that sometimes these big topics like climate crisis can be quite overwhelming, that they are so big topics that how can us as teeny tiny human beings can make a change. But because previously I worked quite independently as an entrepreneur, but now in my work at EETI, an NGO, I feel that the really important aspect of the change and how to push the change is working together. And for example, at EETI, there is a lot of people around EETI, even though we are a small organization, but a lot of EETI-minded people that are, for example, if we have some petition or or a campaign. So there are a lot of people around us to help to get the attention of companies or legislators, all in all. So I think the main thing that we have to remember is that doing this together and this way get the word out and get these important topics into public debate as well. So that's the way that also us teeny tiny human beings can be part of the change. Nobody can do it by themselves, but together we are really a force to be reckoned with. But thank you. If you have any questions, here's my contact details, and there is at our website there's a lot of information, mainly in Finnish, but as said before, the new research, for example, also in English. So again, thank you, and it's really a nice possibility to be part of your important course. Thank you.